So we're here with Eric, and we're talking about the Ventrue. Good old Ventrue, which is venture spelled inside out. So first things first, the number one question is kind of like, are you getting enough oxygen? What is the best thing about playing a Ventrue?
Best thing about Ventrue is the long game. There's two ways vampires can be, right? There's fast, there's the passion, and then there's slow, the cold, calculating ambush hunter. And Ventrue is all about the ambush, the long game, the slow chess game that eventually inexorably grinds to your destiny, you know? Ventrue.
What is a good archetype? Or is there a good single archetype for Ventrue to have?
I haven't felt like I have ever seen someone bring a Ventrue to the table that I didn't enjoy. And all of them have been really different from each other. When I think of Ventrue, I'm torn because I don't think a single archetype. I think there's a family of archetypes that really cover the range you can get.
Okay. Do you want to talk about like the common ones? Like I know there's the corporate boardroom guy, old money, gang lord.
Yeah. So one thing the source material talks about is the corporate boardroom guy, and I don't feel really compelled by that guy. I feel that those Ventrue who are scrabbling around in a corporate boardroom aren't doing it for money. They're doing it for position. Any vampire who can have the discipline to not die in a decade or two can be rich. What makes the Ventrue powerful is scrabbling, and I don't usually see that in the boardroom as much as in the lounge or the golf course or the cruise boat, or maybe things happen in movies or when the actual rubber is hitting the road in the boardroom, but I like the idea. Palpatine sitting back behind the guys in the boardroom. A captain of industry.
Right.
But there's also, I think, some other interesting archetypes, like there's a fun dichotomy in Ventrue with age. So,
you want to talk about lineage at all and how important that is to them? About being able to recite,
Yeah, I want to make this little point first.
Okay, go ahead.
So you've got these old corporate boardroom Ventrue, or captain of industry Ventrue, or ancient kings and dukes Ventrue, but they really don't know how to make, like, it's a bewildering future right now, right? There's globalization, the internet, like capitalism has really changed, expectations of democracy and corruption have really changed, so they have to hire young people. They have to embrace younger people who can keep pace with the modern world, but those people have no realistic opportunity for advancement. You know, like, unless they whack one of the upper guys, which is really not very Ventrue-esque, then these guys are kind of screwed. And yet it's still in their interest to play the game, because if they just wait it out, they'll eventually be older than all the new rubes who come in. So it's this giant pyramid scheme with no actual social mobility, which I just love that. So the young Ventrue is the archetype I like. Like, I'm the guy that they got because I made a computing empire, but they don't respect me. They don't like what I did. They just respect that I made a bundle of cash.
What is an overdone archetype? What is the one Ventrue concept you are absolutely sick of seeing that you don't even want to stamp anymore?
I have not seen as many people as I expected to try to be like the old king-like, duke-like Ventrue guy. But that, I think people rightfully perceive that as not where the fun is, not where the interesting stories are. I wouldn't suggest that in any of our games there is a hackneyed Ventrue concept, because I think everyone who's brought a Ventrue in ECC that I've seen has brought this really unique flavor to it. But if there were a Ventrue that I don't need to see again unless there's something personally interesting about the concept, it's the, like, I'm super old, I'm an elder, I'm royalty, and I'm playing the jihad. Like, you need more of an angle than that, right?
Everybody's doing that.
But I don't think I don't know. I think that question is hard to answer in the affirmative because I haven't seen anything I'm tired of at all.
Okay. Who does your clan embrace from and why?
But it's kind of interesting that, again, there's like this rift in Ventrue, right? There are those who are about lineage, about title, prestige, pedigree. But then there's also a real respect for those who do. So I think you might see it being important that there be a dynasty of good titles or good blood. If you're asking what they would embrace now, it could be from anywhere. It's almost meritocratus, which they would never admit to.
Now, what about if Ventrue's an actual real-life prince and he has, a bloodline? Is he going to keep track of his family bloodline? Is he going to just keep Renfield the Ghoul on hand for 400 years till he gets the embrace?
That is absolutely a Ventrue plot. That's one. There have been several great overarching, like, Ventrue X is protecting his line or attacking the opposite line or something like that. I think that's what you'd expect from the old Ventrue, for sure.
What are your disciplines for? And corollary, in what order should they be pursued for a new player who can't really be clan to clan right off the bat? I mean, you got Fortitude, Presence, and Dominate.
Right.
Pretty self-sustaining.
Okay, the deal with Ventrue is longevity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the long game. In a particular fight, you just need to survive. What you need to do is decide such that when there is a fight, it's not even fair enough to be even called a fight. So what you need is fortitude. There's no reason to not have that first dot, at least. I don't care who you are. Since really your battleground is not physical unless you're doing something wrong or you got a bad break, I think it's really critical that you get some sort of forgetful mind, dominate powers. That allows you to... I mean, can you imagine... Take vampire out of the picture. Imagine a single individual who could just take an important person in a contract case and just tweak a memory that they had. You don't need any of the other powers to be a dangerously successful politician or businessman or something like that. So I'm all about dominate and fortitude. I think by the time you're buying Majesty, you probably have the other two at the requisite levels, right?
Okay.